Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we are going to start our next chapter in the series of polity through MCQ series, and these MCQs are directly based on the book M. Laxmikanth. Now, today we are going to start, this is going to be the second chapter of the constitutional bodies. Now, as I have told you, I am going to club the similar constitutional bodies and then we will complete this series accordingly. Now in today's video we are going to complete the UPSC and the state PSC in a same video. Now first of all, let us deal with the UPSC and they'll solve the questions regarding UPSC, and in this video only we will discuss the state PSC. Now we know that the UPSC is a constitutional body, constitutional as well as independent body, and this is mentioned under part 14 of the constitution, ranging from article 315 to article 323. Now let us see this in detail. First of all, the composition of the UPSC. Now if we talk about the composition, the UPSC consists of a chairman and other members. Now both of them are to be appointed by the president. Now, the Constitution of India does not specify the strength, and it is up to the president to determine the strength of the composition of the members of the Union Public Service Commission. Now the third point here is, usually this commission has around 9 to 11 members. Further, in the Constitution, no qualifications have been prescribed. Okay. Now, the next thing is, the Constitution also prescribes and authorizes that the president is to determine the condition of the services for the members of the UPSC as well as the chairman of the UPSC. Now, next important thing in the composition chapter is about the age. Now, the age for the UPSC is to be 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. Now let us talk about the removal. Now who can remove the UPSC members? Now the president can remove the chairman or any other members for the UPSC from the office under following circumstances. What are the circumstances under which the president can remove? When the member is an adjudged insolvent, or in other sense the member has gone bankrupt. Now another condition is, now if the member engages during his term of office any paid employment outside the UPSC. The third condition here is, if he is in the opinion of the president unfit by body or by mind to continue the office. Okay. However, the president can also remove the chairman or any other members of the UPSC for misbehavior. Now the next point, in the case of misbehavior, if the president has to remove the chairman or the member of the UPSC, the president has to defer that matter to the Supreme Court for an inquiry, and if the Supreme Court declare this, then the person shall stand removed. Now the next point is about the independence. Now the chairman and the members of the UPSC can be removed from his office only by the president, and the grounds that are mentioned under the Constitution. What does it mean? That the members of the UPSC as well as the chairman enjoys security of tenure. Now the salaries, the pension of the members and the chairman of the UPSC, all of this is charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. It means that the salaries and pensions that is given to the members and the chairman of the UPSC, it's not a subject to vote. Okay. Also the third point here is, the chairman or the member of the UPSC is not eligible for reappointment. It means neither the chairman nor the member of the UPSC is eligible for the second term. Now if I talk about the functions of UPSC, first of all, it conducts examination for the appointments of all India services. central services and the public services that are centrally administered. Okay, the next function that the UPSC perform is to assist the states in framing and operating schemes for the recruitment of joint recruitment. It helps the state to formulate the things for the joint recruitment for any of the service. Next function that the UPSC performs, it serves on any needs of the states. It serves on the any needs of the states on the request of the state governor. Okay, now any of the matter that is to be consulted from UPSC, the UPSC has to answer it. Okay, now this was all regarding the composition, removal, independence and functions. Nothing more is of that importance. So let us straight away move to the questions now. Let us see the questions now. First question is, consider the following statements. The President of India is empowered by the Constitution of India to make regulations specifying the matters on which it is not necessary to consult the UPSC. Yes, as the members and the chairman and the members of the UPSC are appointed by the President, so the President is empowered by the Constitution to make regulations specifying the matters on which it is not necessary to consult the UPSC. So the first statement is absolutely correct. Now let us see the next statement. The reason for non-acceptance of the advice of the UPSC have to be laid before each house of the parliament. Now if I tell you a thing that the President lays into the both houses the reports that are to be submitted by the CAG, the reports that are submitted by the National Commission for Scheduled Castes, Scheduled Tribes, then it lays report which are given by the Finance Commission, then the reports which are laid by the Union Public Service Commission. Okay, so this is also a function that the reason for non-acceptance of the advice of UPSC have to be laid, why the recommendations that are laid by the UPSC are not acceptable. So the second statement is also true. Correct answer would be both 1 and 2. Now let us see the next question. Which one of the following are the functions of the UPSC? Now I have told you several functions. So let us see which of these are the functions of UPSC. To conduct examination for the recruitment of the service of the union. Yes, union matlab kya? The services that are centrally administered. So the statement seems to be true. On the advices on or to advise on matters referred to it by the president or the governor. So this is not correct at all. Why it is not correct? That because the advisory jurisdiction to the president lies with the Supreme Court and it is not a function. Basically the matter is that the second option tells us about the advisory jurisdiction. Okay, so this is nowhere related to the function of the UPSC. That is why we will eliminate the second option. Straight away we will come to the answer. But let us see the other options as well. To advise on all disciplinary matters affecting a government servant. Yes, because as the UPSC is interested for the process of recruitment, all the disciplinary matters, for example, the recent example of IAS Pooja Khedkar. So UPSC has taken disciplinary actions because she was an IAS officer and disciplinary action has been taken by the UPSC. Next is to advise on the principle to be followed in the respect of promotion and transfer. Yes, 1, 3 and 4 here are correct. Let us now see the third question. A member of the UPSC is debarred from reappointment as a member. So this statement is absolutely true. Why it is correct? I have already told you in the explanation part that second term के लिए the members and the chairman are not eligible. Second is ineligible for any other employment under the center or state government. Yes, disqualified from becoming a constitutional functionary like governor. So this statement is not given anywhere. Okay, a member can act as a governor at a later state or a chairman can act as a governor. So there is no foundation for a governor. only two qualifications have been mentioned in the constitution to be a governor. First one is to be a citizen of India, and second one is to be 35 years of age. Other than that, none of the qualifications are mentioned. So anyone can be governor, anyone can be appointed as governor by the president. So the third statement here is not correct. That is why statement 1 and 2 is correct. D is the correct option. Now let's see fourth question. The UPSC must be consulted as regards the reservation for the post of backward classes, scheduled castes and scheduled tribe. Now the assertion here is given is absolutely incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because UPSC, there is an exception to this. This is a limitation of UPSC, that just write it down. The UPSC cannot be consulted for reservation for appointment in the favored for backward classes, second in the cases of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and third is for selection for chairmanship or membership of commission. Okay, so these 3 points are there in which the UPSC is not consulted. So the assertion here given is false. So A is false but R is true. D is going to be the correct answer. But let us see the reason. The function of the UPSC are only advisory and the government need not act upon the advice of the commission. Yes, any of the body, constitutional body it may be, the advices of them are absolutely, it is not necessary. Advisory hai, it is, the advice is not binding. Okay, so reason is true, assertion is false. Next is, which of the following is not true? Let us see the not true statement here. A member of the UPSC holds office for the terms of 60 year and 65 year, whichever is earlier. Yes, 665, this is in clause. A statement is correct. The chairperson of UPSC is not eligible for further employment under Government of India. Yes, on one half of the member of UPSC should be person who have held the office at least 10 years, either in the Government of India or Government of State. Yes, this is absolutely true. The chairperson and the other members of UPSC are appointed by the Prime Minister. No, these are not appointed by the Prime Minister but the President of our country. So D is the not correct statement here. Next is, under the Constitution of India, the power to extend the function of the UPSC has been vested in the, so this to increase or decrease the jurisdiction, everything in such respect regarding most of the institution is vested in the parliament of the country. Okay, the president role is to just appoint, and to increase the jurisdiction, extend the jurisdiction, etc., all of that power is vested with the parliament. So B is the correct answer. Next is, who among the following is a constitutional authority for whose removal from office by the president a reference to the Supreme Court is necessary? Now just right now I already told you that if a chairman is to be removed by the president, so the president needs a reference to by the Supreme Court. So A is the correct option here. Next is, we have to tell the correct statement here. So Union Public Service Commission may serve the needs of a state if requested by the governor of that state and approved by the president. Yes, the statement is absolutely true. If the governor requests the UPSC, then the UPSC can serve the needs. Okay, other than that, each of the option is not correct. Next is, the Constitution of India enjoins upon the government to consult the UPSC in disciplinary matters. Which one of the following is an institution whose emergence cannot be exactly be reconciled with the constitutionally prescribed role of the UPSC? Now the UPSC has the responsibility for the recruitment, transfer, promotion, etc. of the persons which are there. So ARC, so here this is a body, that is Central Vigilance Commission. Now this is a statutory body that works under the departmental corruption cases. So the UPSC का disciplinary matters में it does not extend to the CVC. Other than that, UPSC can act as a disciplinary action on any of these, because the members that are appointed in these commissions are directly appointed by the UPSC. Okay, the CVC is a corruption related body, so the CVC has the power to just inquire on the UPSC, but the same is not true. That is why the Central Vigilance Commission is beyond the purview of the UPSC. Now let's see the 10th question. Which one of the following is not a function of the UPSC? conducts examination for the appointment to the services of union. Correct. It shall be consulted on all matters relating to methods of recruitment to the civil services. Absolutely correct. It shall be consulted on all disciplinary action. Yes. It shall be consulted in cases as regard the reservation for the post. No. This is an exception and UPSC does not has power regarding this. We have solved this question earlier also. Assertion and reason ka question tha. So UPSC has not power regarding this. So this point has came 2 times. So just write it down in your notes regarding UPSC. Okay. D statement here is not correct. Now let's see question number 11. No qualification has been prescribed for the membership of the UPSC. Yes, the constitution does not prescribe anything. The constitution does not fix the number of members of the UPSC. Yes, the number of the members for the UPSC, these are to be decided by the president and no one else. Okay, so both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation because the reason does not explain the assertion. So the B statement here is true. Now next is, which of the following statement about a member of UPSC on his ceasing to hold office is incorrect? Now let us see the correct answer here. He is eligible for appointment. No. He is ineligible to be appointed as a chairman of any state PSC. Yes. The B statement here is true. So B is the right answer here. Let's now move to the question number 13. See, I am just making you complete this question very quickly because this chapter is not of that much importance. But now we are completing the Laxmikanth book as a whole. So that is why I have chosen this. So this is no need to just ponder around. Just you need to know some of the facts that if in case a question comes from this chapter, then you can easily solve this. Okay. So you just don't need to ponder around these on these chapters. It is absolutely okay if you don't study these chapters in depth also. Okay. Which of the following is not a concern for UPSC? So recruitment, disciplinary matter, promotion. Now classification of service is done by the Department of Personnel and Training, DOPT, under the Government of India, and this classification of service does not concern the UPSC. That is why B is correct. Now the annual report of the UPSC is submitted to the president. This we have seen. The president lays down many reports. I've told you this in the explanation part. So this is submitted to the president. Now next is UPSC is an independent organization. Absolutely correct. And UPSC is a constitutional body. Absolutely correct. So the reason here correctly explains the assertion and assertion explains the reason. So A is the correct answer. Next is, a member of the UPSC is appointed by the president. Absolutely correct. Is ineligible for reappointment. Absolutely correct. He holds the office for a period of 6 years or at the age of 60 years. No, 6 years and 65 years. This is the case and not 60 years. So third we will eliminate straight away. Correct answer is B. Let's now move to the next question. Which is vested with the power to make regulation to the condition of service of the member and staff of the UPSC? So this we have studied in the explanation part. The president has the power to make regulations as to the condition of services of the members of the UPSC. Now next question is, immediately before 26 January 1950 the UPSC was known as, so the UPSC was known as the Federal Public Service Commission and the provisions were made in the Government of India Act. So if I talk about the origin of the UPSC, so the origin of the UPSC can be traced back to the Government of India Act of 1919, which is also known as Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Okay, so B is the correct answer here. Let's now move to the next question. According to which one of the following articles of the Constitution of India the government is bound to seek advice of the UPSC? Now it is according to the article, it is according to the article 320. Okay, you can just write down this article. Next is, after being chairman of UPSC, one cannot become a member of central or state legislature. This is absolutely false. He can become, although the member or the chairman of UPSC cannot be de-appointed, but he can become a member of central or state legislature. So A is false and R is true here. Let us see the reason as well. He is completely debarred from any future employment under the central or state government after retirement. Yes, the reason is true, but the assertion is false. Next is, in which of the following does the UPSC advises the central government? On the matters relating to the method of recruitment of the civil services? Yes, absolutely correct. Principle to be followed by making appointment? Yes. Disciplinary matters? Yes. On seniority when it referred? Yes. Although it is to be noted that the recommendations that are made are only advisory and not binding. Okay, so D is the correct answer. Now the next is, in terms of constitutional status, the UPSC is an advisory body. Just I've told you right now, UPSC is an advisory body. Next is, how can functions of the UPSC be extended in respect of the services of the union and also in respect of the local authority or other body corporate constituted by law for any public institution? So this can be increased by the act of an parliament. Next is, which of the following is not correct? So the Constitution of India does not specify the number of members of the UPSC. It is true. While it specifies the number in case of Supreme Court judges. Yes, this is correct. Nearly as half of the member of the UPSC must have held office for 10 years under the government of India or under the government of state. Absolutely correct statement. On ceasing to hold office, a member of UPSC other than the chairman is eligible for appointment as chairman of the State Public Service Commission. Yes. Before creation of Group A post under central government, a clearance from UPSC Commission is required. So this is not required. Commission is just an advisory body. So D here is not true. So now let us see the important points regarding the State Public Service Commission, and then in this video only we are going to complete the State Public Service Commission as well. As we have seen that the UPSC conducts recruitment exams for at the central level, there are State Public Service Commission, and these two hold the constitutional position under Part 14 from Article 315 to 323. Okay. Now, just as the President is the head of the country, so the President appoints the chairman of the UPSC and the members as well. On the other hand, the head of the state government is governor. So all of the responsibilities that were performed by the President on the UPSC level are to be done by the governor in the case of State Public Service Commission. So if I talk about the composition, the chairman as well as the members of the State Public Service Commission are to be appointed by the governor of that state. All the rules and regulations regarding the appointments are to be made by the governors. Okay. Now, an important fact here to know is, I have mentioned that in the case of UPSC, the age is 6 years or 65 years. But in the case of State Public Service Commission, the tenure of the office is 6 years and 62 years, whichever is earlier. Okay. Now, if we talk about the removal, although the members and the chairman of the State Public Service Commission is appointed by the governor, although they can be removed only by the president. Now, the president can remove them on the same grounds and in the same manner as he removes the chairman or the member of the UPSC. Okay. So point here to be noted that in the case of removal, although the governor appoints the member and the chairman of the State Public Service Commission, they can be removed only by the president. Now, the president can also remove the chairman or any other member of the State Public Service Commission for the case of misbehavior, but before doing that he has to consult the Supreme Court. Okay. Now, if I talk about the independence, all of that which I mentioned is applicable in independence also. They have got security of tenure and all. Although one point here to be noted is that the salaries and the pension of the State Public Service Commission are charged on the consolidated fund of the state. Okay. Now, Next is functions. They perform the function of recruitment, etc. at the state level. So this is also the same as we have discussed in the for the UPSC. Now let us see. All matters relating to the State Public Service Commission is consulted on. All the matters relating to recruitment to the civil services and for the post of state. Yes, all disciplinary matters affecting a person in the service under the state. Yes, absolutely, both the statement are true. The work done by the State Public Service Commission is same as done by the UPSC at central level. Now let us see. A member of the State Public Service Commission can be removed only by the governor on the ground of his misbehavior. No, the governor cannot remove on the ground of misbehavior, but the president can do so. So this was an important point that I have highlighted in the explanation part only. Okay, so the first statement we can eliminate straight away. Let us see the second statement. President on the grounds of his infirmity of body and mind. Absolutely correct. This we have studied in UPSC also. Governor when such members become an insolvent. No, governor in no case shall remove the member or the chairman of the State Public Service Commission. So the third statement is also wrong. The president on the ground of misbehavior after receiving report of the Supreme Court after the due inquiry. Yes, 2 and 4 statement seems to be true. So B is the correct answer here. Next is the Constitution provides for the establishment of public service commissions. For the union, this is UPSC. For each state, there is State Public Service Commission, and then for common for 2 or more states. But there is no provision for establishment of Public Service Commission for Union Territory. Why? Because the central government has power to make laws regarding all 3 subjects, that is means union list, state list or concurrent list. All these subjects which are mentioned under Schedule 7, the powers and responsibility regarding this is with the central government. So no need is there for a separate public service commission. That is why our A option is correct. Now next is, it shall be duty of the State Public Service Commission to conduct examination for appointment. Absolutely correct. The function of the State Public Service Commission is only advisory and non-obligatory upon the government. Yes, this is true. But the reason does not correspond to the assertion. That is why B is the correct answer. It means that reason is not correct explanation of the assertion here. Now the next question. Which one of the following functions does not require consultation with the State Public Service Commission as per the provisions of the Constitution? Now, method of recruitment, it is compulsory. Principle to be followed, it is also compulsory. The manner in which provision may be made for the reservation for the appointment in the favor of any backward classes citizens, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Now, this exception was also there in the UPSC case. Also, this exception is there in the case of state PSC. So, this question is going to be easy for you now. Okay, C is the correct answer. Let's now see the next question. Which of the following statement is correct? The UPSC may agree to serve all or any of the needs. Now, this can be done when the governor requests subject to the approval of the president. So, this is an important question. You can write it down. B is the correct answer. Next is, a joint public service commission for 2 or more states can be established by. So, this can be established by an act of parliament. Next is, the State Public Service Commission submits its annual report to the governor of the state. Just like UPSC submits the annual report to the president, the State Public Service Commission submits its report to the governor. Now, next is, when the report of the State Public Service Commission is not accepted, the reason for such non-acceptance are to be laid before the state legislature. Simple question. Next is, the salaries, allowance and other service of the conditions of the State Public Service Commission are determined by the state governor. These are to be determined by the governor, just like the president determines it in the case of the UPSC. Now next is, a member of the State Public Service Commission can be removed on the ground of misbehavior only after an inquiry has been held by the Supreme Court of India. This I have already explained. Next, and I think the final question is, Parliament may by law provide for appointment of a joint State Public Service Commission to serve the needs of the 2 or more states when the president seems necessary. No, when the governor know when a resolution is to be passed by the state legislature of those states. The states that need a joint state service commission, those states need to pass a resolution. So C is the correct answer. Now with this we have completed the chapter of UPSC as well as the state PSC. So do like this video and do mention in the comment section if you like this video. Thank you for watching.